Trustyfy is here to level the field, to allow the newbie, the grandma, to take the best from both worlds, from crypto and banks. And if you look at the pain points, banks, we know, our custodian, lots of people are not aware of this. So the moment you give your money to the bank, you sign literally an agreement that they own your money. That's why you have those crazy stories from all around the world where people go to the bank and say, I want to have $1,000 cash. And they say, what for? Normally you should say, it's my money. It's none of your business. But you have to declare.
Volker Hartzsch is a serial entrepreneur who transitioned from military special forces to founding 19 companies, including 6 society, and investing in over 23 startups. His journey emphasises discipline, problem solving and resilience in blockchain and Web3 tech. As a Trustyfy co-founder, he drives a platform bridging fiat and crypto, revolutionising decentralised finance for the Unbanked with Tokenization, and an affiliate program promoting authentic user experiences.
There's lots of crypto cards out there. People telling me, use your Bitcoin and pay with a card. But it has nothing to do with seamless bridging fiat and crypto. Nothing. Seamless for me, from my account to my account that I got from Trustyfy. And now, without anybody interfering, anybody asking me questions, anybody blocking anything, can load as much as I want to my card. And now I can pay crypto with everywhere. Trustyfy think of it as a simple to use banking alternative, as a no banking solution. So we bridge, like you said, the transactions between crypto and fiat. So you can seamlessly, which is unique according to my knowledge, use crypto everywhere.
Volker, thanks for your time.
Sure, my pleasure, and thanks for having me.
Now, you got something pretty exciting coming up to reveal to the Ballsy Show listeners. But first, I want to get a bit of a history on you, mate. You've done everything from Muay Thai to special forces to open multiple businesses. And I know you hate talking about yourself, but you have to give me something here. You've had a pretty interesting life after growing up in Germany.
Yeah, well, thank you for the flowers. It's true. I'm not a big fan. Sounds like bragging, but I guess it's my quest for that eventually led to blockchain, for finding the holy grail of anything I do, right? When I did sport athlete, and I guess I'm preaching to the choir, right? You're an idol, of course, for every athlete out there. I always thought there must be a better way to do things, to execute, to win championships. So I always was determined to learn from the best and then add my own secret sauce and make it better. And that's my whole story. When I went to university, and then I joined different teams in Taekwondo and Muay Thai for championship. Then Army, the normal one, wasn't good. I wanted to be special forces, watching too many movies, I guess. And it gives you a great set of skills. That's, I think, maybe the best takeaway. And eventually I landed up by being mentored by a very successful business guy who owned 14 clubs. And he used to tell me, listen, if you want to make something big but be unknown and super wealthy, you have to solve problems for many. And that really stuck with me. And ever since, all the businesses I've built were always focused on really solving something that makes sense and that can be scaled across countries and borders.
Some of those lessons you learned, obviously, if you're in the special forces or military, you have to have routine, you have to have discipline, you have to have hard work. And speaking just off air, you're a man who still trains out every day, 4 a.m. this morning. Yeah. I say that's a little crazy, probably 2 hours before I'm willing to do it, but there is a fair commitment to this. Have you taken that through your early days to now your business lessons?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you're a fan or not of Dan Pena, the billionaire coach.
Yeah.
But he says there is no life-work balance. And it's all about desire or goals you have. If you really want to create something special and you want to provide a solution, you have to focus on this, right? And once again, you're an athlete. You know all about it. I really don't need to tell you anything. That's only one thing that counts, and that is building the business and living up to the promises you did, right? And I have this crazy guiding star where I said to people, if you ever catch me, that I say something and don't do it, you can drive your car on top of me. I don't care. So this is obviously makes you wake up every morning and say, I have to deliver on the promises. And in return, you get a fantastic community because they know you really mean what you say and you will not stop until you deliver the promised land, right? And so it's a win-win. And I think discipline is the key to everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, not all stories are successful stories. What are the lessons you've learned over the journey?
Well, I learned even if you have the best idea, if you have the best setup and you get the possible best people you can win over for yourself, if you are not protected from every angle, there are evil forces who doesn't want you to succeed. So the story that people keep telling me I shouldn't talk about this is how I lost one of my companies, and I lost $7 million overnight because competition didn't like me. And I had every single possible legal approval before I started my company, but it didn't help. You know, by the end of the day, I won my court case, but the money was gone, my reputation was gone until I could fight back, right? And so I really learned if you want to play with the big boys, you have to have in every corner and every piece of the puzzle has to be the perfect fit. As otherwise you cannot scale to the point that you probably have in mind, right? So I think this is the most important takeaway. Everything can be perfect, but if you're missing one single piece, you still have a good potential to fail.
Now that's a story of failure and honesty, and appreciate that. But then also you had some wonderful successes too, and sold in the hundreds of millions. And yeah. And can you sort of reveal some of those that we might know of?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I keep joking that I was able to beat Jeff Bezos. So before he came out with an online shopping platform, I had one. We did like the first year, 1.5 million customers, 19 countries, build it up all the way to $650 million per year. But then I sold it. And I guess Jeff doesn't care much because he made 100 billions of dollars, which is another lesson I learned. Even if you're the first one, you have to make sure your model is lasting long enough and you keep building pillars in order to make it bulletproof for the future, right? And overall, I have been lucky, touch wood, with my investments. I started super early to produce nanotech. The Lotus effect, you might have seen that back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, you torture or you use your textile, you spray it, and then any dirt won't stick. You can do the same with wall, windows. So I used to produce that in mass marketing. And it was amazing, right? It was so early that people were suspicious. So eventually I sold the license to 14 different countries, and they took it then to make it a business of $3.5 billion. Wow. So once again, the lesson is you can be super early, your product can be fantastic, but if you don't have the right alignment with distribution or the partners, you better be in selling or giving it away than trying to make it yourself.
There's some wise words there. It brings us to what we're here to talk about today, and that's
Yes.
a new business you've got. It's called Trustyfy.
Yes.
Now, you're obviously a co-founder of that. It effectively, in my bogan layman terms, is it brings the fiat world to the crypto world and helps people transact anywhere and any time off blockchain. In simple terms, what does it mean for crypto newbies?
Well, I guess you said it already in a perfect way. Maybe fiat for crypto newbies is not a term, right? Fiat is US dollar, euro, it's a traditional money, right? But, people are talking about crypto, blockchain, and Bitcoin, and they make it all the same, right? For them, blockchain is equal to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is not stable, what have you. But obviously, Trustyfy is here to level the field, to allow the newbie, the grandma, to take the best from both worlds, from crypto and banks. And if you look at the pain points, banks, we know, are our custodian. Lots of people are not aware of this. So the moment you give your money to the bank, you sign literally an agreement that they own your money. That's why you have those crazy stories from all around the world where people go to the bank and say, I want to have $1,000 cash. And they say, what for? Normally you should say, well, it's my money. That's none of your business. But you have to declare, you have to go through X-ray these days to do normal transactions. It's crazy. It's insane. right? But you still need banks, I believe, right? Then you have crypto and people say, well, fantastic. You own your money. It's decentralized. Nobody can take away your money. But it's very tricky. You know, you have to remember your seed phrase. Otherwise, you can't get your money anymore. You're locked out and you lose everything. You know, you have to be able to use it. The applications, dApps, you know, decentralized applications are usually very tricky to use, you know, very unuser friendly. And then on top of it, you have zero chance to have a second signature. So if you have a wife, kids that you want to allow to have access, if you give them access, they have 100% access. So they clean you out without you knowing, right? And Trustyfy is really here to take the best from both worlds, right? Trustyfy is, think of it as a simple to use banking alternative, as a no banking solution. So we bridge, like you said, the transactions between crypto and fiat. So you can seamlessly, which is unique according to my knowledge, use crypto everywhere by using a virtual card or a physical card. Or you can transfer money from your account to a VBAN account, to a virtual IBAN, which also is a bit revolutionary, because even in today's world, where Coinbase is a gazillion-dollar company stock listed, you know, if you want to send money from your account, we have many, many customers, and the banks are blocking their accounts and telling them Coinbase is an illegal business. Or they freeze their accounts and don't give them access, which is pretty insane. They're stock listed and one of the most valued companies these days, right? So Trustyfy is really solving all these problems because you have super easy access. You don't need to remember a seed phrase. You just put in your email, you get an OTP, a one-time password, and you're set up. No special wallets to download or any of that. You literally can use it as if it would be a neobank without being a bank. And I think that's beautiful.
Well, that's a game changer for people who'd be tuning in for the first time and hearing this, because you see all these different Revolut card, which is still a link to a bank everywhere. You know, my bank in Australia, Commonwealth Bank is the biggest bank. You know, we see Deutsche Bank, we see all the Credit Suisse. They all have a tap and go facility on your phone as a digital, as you say, or your card. Yours delivers that. Now, the question I have probably off the back of it is, we see up to, I'm guessing a number, I've read it, it could be wrong, 2 billion people worldwide who are unbanked. How does this change the game for them?
Oh yeah, big. You once again, you tap in the biggest epiphany I ever had. And one of the challenges we have in a way of who to market to first. You know, normally you build a product and you have one audience, people with money or people with no money, right? Yeah. There's nothing in between. And Trustyfy literally is the first business I ever seen, came across, have been involved with, that solves the big portion, like you said, 2 billion plus of unbanked or underbanked. So they do not have access to financial solutions. They don't get a bank account. They still have to have the money hidden at home and become victims of criminal activities. So we can allow these people to now send money to each other at almost no cost. You know, it's the almost $1 trillion per year industry, remittancy industry. You know, where people leave their home country, like Dubai. I live in Dubai, right? So there's like 150 nationalities here. So they work hard here and then send money back to their relatives. But if they go to an exchange, they pay between 8 and 16% on every dollar they send. This is what I call modern theft. It's robbery. So now I give them a Trustyfy account for free and they can send the same money for cent to the dollar. So this is crazy good, right? So we solve this area, which is massive, 2 billion plus customers. But then in the middle, we have the people with money. You know, these people are tired of not being in control. So now having a decentralized solution allows you for the first time to be 100% in control. Nobody can freeze your account. Nobody can take your money away. You have instant transfers for, you know, a small percentage of the cost that you usually would have. You know, you can load your credit card with any amount you want. It's not like you said, Revolut, they're saying, oh, sorry, you can't spend more than $5,000 because yada, yada. Well, you load $150,000, go and knock yourself out and buy a car. That's fine, right? So that's the second part. It's the unbanked and then the people with money who now finally are in control and can do all their daily transactions in a much simpler, more controlled way. And then the third big part is the businesses. Businesses these days, and again, I'm in business for a long time, and I coached huge companies, multi-billion-dollar companies. They have massive problems just to send money. Again, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, one of the most popular places for oil trade. And I know companies who are in business for 20, 30 years who have issues now being with the same bank to pay for their oil delivery, for the tender. 15, 20, $25 million, and it's expensive. So now I can go to them and say, listen, you use stable coin, which once again, lots of people don't know, digital dollar, same. It's pegged to the dollar, has the same inflation, the same value, anything. And now they can use that to have their business set up without any of the headaches. And this is, like you said, it's a revolution. It's like a new way of doing business or being a private person or getting access to financial solutions.
Now, obviously there's co-founders as well as yourself, and Dr. Stefano Tresca and Elisa, and I asked you before, Giudici?
Yeah, Giudici, yeah.
You got her name. Was that the reason for the launch of Trustyfy? And I think by all reports, there's around 10,000 users so far, and you guys haven't even marketed this product yet. But is that the reason why? Just to have a product that, one, people don't get ripped off. I'll say it, not you. And then the other side is it can go to anyone. It doesn't discriminate.
Yes, both. And I'm glad you're meeting my co-founders. That is another story I like to tell, because I used to build software as well. One of the stories I could potentially brag about is that I built a SaaS, software as a solution, sold it for a few $1 million. And so when I stumbled upon blockchain, I said, this is the answer of all my dreams. Finally, the weakest point, which is usually us humans, will be eliminated because the smart contract can execute the most important tasks. Right? So you do not depend on people. Fantastic. And so I'm like, well, I develop software. How hard can it be to develop a blockchain solution? So I sent out to a few companies this exact same request. And the offers I got back was between $40,000 and $450,000. I'm like, guess I don't understand how that is happening. So I don't know nothing about Web3, because that's where we are in now, right? From Web2 to Web3. And then I reached out to one of these expert platforms, where you can talk to experts, pay for their time. And this is where I met Stefano, Dr. Stefano Tresca. And I annoyed him, he said, to the most possible ends of his nerves. And said, listen, I need your help. So I hired him as a consultant for my company at that time. And then after a year, I said, listen, I have a idea that's fantastic, Angel Syndicate, membership, we should do that together. And then I flew over, I met his wife, super smart, also crazy history of successful businesses, started at the age of 15, embarrassing for me. Those are the stories I like to tell from them, both of them. And we really figured out that we are a magic combination. We all did the same, just with different priorities. He was in Silicon Valley. He had his first exit at 23 as a lawyer with Italian Telecom, $2.3 billion as an employee. Figured it would be better. He would have been self-employed and take some of the 2.3 billion. So the fact that he has seen those markets as a founding member of the biggest incubator in Europe obviously made a big shift in how I approach the business. Because now we added this crazy experience from a guy who already started the first online bank, neobank, 10 years ago. So it was kind of the logical process to struggle ourselves with banks and the challenges. And then one day I sent a message, I have enough. I want my own bank, more like as a complaint, right? Like a 5-year-old being angry with the situation. And he said, yeah, it can be done. I've done it before. No problem. Let's do it. And that's how it started. And Trustyfy became a reality. And then always it's more headache than you think, and it's more costly and more challenges. But eventually, we are very happy that we're in soft launch and we're able already to create a pretty exciting product.
How long from when you first come up with the idea to now has it been?
3.5 years.
Well, that's quick.
Yeah, 3.5 years. Oh, very. And normally, we still spend millions and millions of dollars. But if you have done the same in Silicon Valley, I guess, and somebody would want to copy us, they could easily fork out 20, 25, $30 million, easy. And monthly between $3 and $5 million. But once again, you cannot beat connections, right? Just the fact that Stefano, Elisa were in that industry for a while, they knew some fantastic freak nerd coders, the people you need. And they were able to start working on the vision and had a very similar one, which made it even easier. And so they became our CTOs and also partner in Trustyfy. And now I guess it's a beautiful combination of people who have skin in the game and are willing to work 24/7, right?
Yeah, and that's what appears different from obviously my relationship with you guys, obviously signing up as Trustyfy, and then obviously as a parent company we can mention at a later date. But the key milestones from your perspective, obviously you've done a lot of research development, you would have had a lot of trials. I mentioned before that you've clicked over 10,000 users worldwide, and I assume that's flying. Where do you think it can get to?
Well, the sky is the limit, right? In the beginning, I thought we do quick million customers. Then I looked at Revolut, what they do as a centralized, limited solution, because they cannot help the underbanked, right? They have no chance. So I literally think the next 3 to 5 years, we will see something like 1 billion customers. It sounds crazy, but this is my expectation. And if it comes to businesses, I think we will pretty easily cross 1 million businesses that will use Trustyfy in the next 3 years.
Well, how long do you think, obviously it's out for individuals at the moment, how long till a big corporation will be able to use the technology?
Oh, this year. We have an upcoming event here in Dubai, October. And I don't want to say nothing too early, but I think we will have fantastic news if it comes to B2B. And we're going to bring that home. Just since you say it, yesterday, Y Combinator is one of the largest VC companies in the world from Silicon Valley, right? They're one of the top. And they just did a investment round, 60 million or so, for a company who offers only one thing, and that is virtual IBAN numbers, euro and dollar account. And the cost is like $300 to $500 a year, just for that. And for business, a few $1,000s per month. This is part of Trustyfy. It's one of the pieces. So if you look at all the pieces, we just talked about a few now, reporting. Normally you have MetaMask. Well, try to find the report, what you purchased the last 5 years. Good luck. You're lost. Try to pay taxes on this. You're really in trouble, right? Now you add your MetaMask wallet to Trustyfy and you have every single transaction at the comfort of a click. You can make it a PDF, so you can get it already prepared to your tax person in order to be able to be in a position to pay taxes, right? I mean, there's so many more things to Trustyfy than what we've touched so far, and so many more things coming down the road that makes me super excited and sleepless as well, literally restless, because I want to go out and share the news and be ready to finally launch out of beta into full-on mode, right?
Tired of clunky crypto transactions, frozen accounts, and hidden bank fees? Meet Trustyfy, the Web3 platform that puts you in control. With Trustyfy, you can take control of your digital assets, make payments with a debit card, track your cash flow, and more, all on one seamless dashboard. No banks, no unnecessary middlemen, just a smarter way to manage your money with blockchain technology. Plus, join our affiliate program and earn rewards for sharing the future of finance. Sign up today for free.
Yeah, well, the one thing, Volker, that really impressed me is Michael, who we have a mutual friend, and that's how I was sort of alerted to what you were doing. And why I was so keen to get you on the podcast is that we went to a local hotel here in Adelaide in South Australia, and he said, "Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. I'll buy you a drink." And we were both not drinking, so it was like a soda, and I thought I'll have a coffee. And he's done the old click on the Apple phone, tap and go, or bang, here's the card. And I was expecting something complex, something different, something out there that just didn't, was never going to work in the current system we're in. But quite literally, the guy behind the bar who served us for the coffee and the soda, it went as quick as my transaction on my normal bank. Yeah. So for people out there who are a bit concerned, that it's seamless.
Yes, and again, there's lots of crypto cards out there, like people telling me, use your Bitcoin and pay with a card, but it has nothing to do with seamless bridging fiat and crypto. Nothing. Seamless for me is if I can send fiat, dollar or euro from my account to my account that I got from Trustyfy. And now, without anybody interfering, anybody asking me questions, anybody blocking anything, can load as much as I want to my card. And now I can pay crypto with everywhere, in any place, because it's a Visa card, right? There's no limitations other than they don't accept Visa, right? And the other way around. Now people say, well, what about if I have lots of money? Do I have to go through exchanges? Because that's a headache. From the exchange back to your bank account, you have lots of questions. If you don't have a fantastic bank and you're lucky enough to live in the UAE, where they are pretty cool because now it's a legit business, now you have to explain. Now you can put it on your bank account, the VBAN, right, that is in your name, and send it from your personal account to your personal account. No questions asked, right? And that's the beauty of it. It's not about tricking the system. It's about using what's available and make it simple so you really can take advantage of being in 2025 and not feeling like you're in 1943.
It feels like we're having a chat on banking, but it's not really banking, is it, what you guys are doing?
No, not at all. That's the best part. We are a software solution. We are building solutions that allow existing features to be used in a perfect way. So you want a bank? Well, we connect you with third partners. Otherwise, you would need to generate our own bank first, which in the future will happen. But for now, the best part to integrate that into a system that makes sense is using third parties. And obviously, for all the people who say, oh, fantastic, maybe I can use that for black money. No. The moment you have a bank account or you want a bank account, you need to go through a KYC, know your customer. There's no way to say, well, I'm a drug dealer and I use Trustyfy. Now, we stick 100% to those procedures because, once again, if you want to become a $100 billion company, which is the aim for Trustyfy, you have to stick to the rules and make sure you are 100% on top of it, right?
Yeah, and that's probably the way that you differ from the banks, isn't it? Is you are the software and you're the connector, which helps people do that. Why avoid that banking model for Trustyfy? Would they end up using it, do you think, heading forward?
Well, fun fact, we one of our partners has strong business relations in Africa. And first time, I guess, February last year, we just had a super early adopter launch for Trustyfy, and he calls me and says, listen, you keep saying that you offer a white label solution, because every software we build, we also offer as white label if the deal is right. And says, so why? He said, well, the bank here, local bank, has 70 million customers, and they want that as a white label solution because they know crypto is the future, but they asked their local top agency to code it for them, and they told them it takes 5 years and $25 million. So, once again, the opportunities to allow people to use software, Trustyfy solution are limitless. I don't even know where to start. That's why we said we start first to B2C and consumers, gain our fair share of experiences, get feedback from the customers, see how happy they are. And we're constantly improving. Like now when you get an account, it's already a beautiful UI, UX, I think. But the onboarding is not perfect. So if you don't know where to click, you might be stuck. That's not acceptable, right? So the next update, the next 5 days will be different. So now you get a free account. Then let's say you want to have a bank account add-on and a credit card. then it will tell you, click here to do this, perfect, done. Now click here to get your card, click here. So it will be even more simplified in the way that without talking to anybody, you have an in-app onboarding experience.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the cards and signing up can be free, or $60 if you want to become an affiliate. I have a link below for anyone that is interested, wants to sign up for free or become an affiliate. But it just seems like you mentioned it to, there's improvements coming, but for me, who's done it, it was pretty seamless from that situation. The classic is when you carry a wallet nowadays, or whether it's all on your card, you feel like you're carrying about 15 different cards.
Yeah.
From a user's point of view, is it easy just to sort of wipe the slate clean and just have one account, and that's a Trustyfy account?
Well, in general, I should say yes, as a co-founder of Trustyfy, but as a man with experience, it's always good to have an alternative. So you never know if you are, as I said, in a place where they don't accept Visa. It's like, I'm a big fan of American Express, no advertising here. But you are done. If you're with that travel, you're lost. You will be stranded if you don't have cash. You will end up begging for money, right? So same. Trustyfy, to me, the Trustyfy card is by far the best solution because I am in control how much money I load on the card. And it's the fastest card I have seen. It's the most beautiful, but I'm biased, of course. I love the color. I love the fact I can add it to Apple Pay or Google Pay. I can use it in so many ways. I can have virtual cards, like also Revolut, sure. You don't like the one that you paid. You just block it, have a new one in 5 seconds. So there's so many advantages, but it's my number one card now. Having said so, it doesn't hurt to have an alternative in your wallet. At least a second card I would always have.
Now, you talk about that affiliate program, and I touched on it before for people who might be signing up. Can you give us a bit of an understanding and the reason why you've done this?
Yeah, actually, every account, even the free account, comes with a referral link in the app. And once again, I'm a big believer. People always tell us, well, why don't you go out to influencers and pay them money and they will say whatever you want? Well, to me, this is not marketing with integrity, right? I don't want this. So we actually have a pretty harsh, some people complained already, onboarding system. But we tell people, well, if you don't use the product, why would you promote it? It doesn't make no sense. We want people, like you said, oh, fantastic. I remember the first time we talked, you were literally excited about the simplicity. That's what I want. Then you were excited because you see the mission behind it to really do some good. Like Elisa, my partner, always says, have fun, work hard, and do something good. That's a beautiful combination, right? And so then I really want you as my partner because you are part of the same mission. And that's the same for affiliates. So we said it's a super easy access. If you get a free account, you play around and you want to see if it's all real or just a lame car salesman pitch, then you can check it out. And then you have an affiliate link if you want to share with your friends that are in crypto or do something. You can say, hey, listen, check this out, really cool. And then you can make commission, right, already. Or you say, well, I want to have an ad on the card and the bank account. Then you can pay $15, really nothing. Or you get the plus plan, which is a full-on package, everything you want, more advantages for $60 a year. Once again, compared to what you get, I wanted, and this is on a story, I said to Stefano and Elisa, let's sell that for $600. Yeah. And they're like, oh, no, that's not the idea. We want to help many people. So I also want to help many people, but I want to make money. So, German, we are born without a heart. So we are more about money, So since we are three and democracy, so we voted and they voted against me. So that's why it's $60. And then you get, instead of 10%, you get 20% commission, right? So now you have this referral link. And if you post this, you really do good to other people because it is an alternative and it allows you to be in control of your own money, which to me is freedom. Freedom is limited these days, right? And you have to fight for every little piece that whoever they are, wants to take from you. So for me, having this security that nobody can take away my money on my wallet and I can go and pay and all I need is my phone and I'm able to travel and do whatever I want, is fantastic. It's peace of mind.
And in terms of transactions, obviously the affiliate model, Web3 friendly, obviously works on the current web that we've got going at the moment, and you just need access. Is that all?
Yeah. Yes, it's the no app to download. Once again, you take one of the most famous decentralized, half decentralized apps out there, MetaMask. You can't even access that if you're not inside their own browser.
Yeah.
These are all the limitations where people say, well, I'm nervous. Does it work? What if their browser goes down? We are wallet agnostic. So we allow wallets, no matter the color, the shape, the form, to be integrated with Trustyfy. And we do not have restrictions, whether you're on phone, desktop, Chrome, Safari, whatever it is. You just find the website. You need internet access. Yes, that's true. And then your email address to log in, OTP will be sent to your email address, log in, and that's it. If you want to be super secure, you do a two-step process, to verify, and then you're as hacker safe as you can be.
Yeah. For people this might be new to, and the crypto world probably spooks them out a little, can you explain a little bit of Web 2 versus Web 3?
Yeah, I actually have stolen the explanation from Stefano, so not my own copyright, saying. He used to say Web 2 was the internet of information. Because if you think about it, you just exchange information, nothing else. Yeah. Web 3 is the internet of money. Now, for the first time, you have a fully decentralized chance, without having one middleman controlling where the money is going, to interact with other people and use Web3 to send assets of all shape and form, not only crypto, but even tokenized assets, to other people without waiting for any approval or any middleman in the middle that's trying to make the most cash out of you.
You touched then on not just money or currency or fiat or US dollars or euros or Aussie dollars, whatever we talk, or all cryptos. Do you think we'll get a space in Web3 where we'll be tokenizing everything soon? Like, and I know in Dubai, they're already tokenizing real estate. In Australia, we're not there yet. Do you think that is the next frontier for technology like this?
Oh, 100%. This is really, they say nothing in life is guaranteed. I think this is guaranteed. RWA, real world assets, is like the keyword for 2 years. And we have another project, Tokeny, where we do that. So we build software where we tokenize everything. And normally people don't get access to this. There's another company, BlackRock, we know, the largest money maker in the world. But if you want to join them, you have to have personal assets that you have to prove of at least $150 million in the bank and a minimum investment of $5 million. So how many people can get access to this? That's very limited, right? So we already had one project and we gave access to people that were able to invest $25,000. That's a huge difference. But we absolutely believe, like with any other expert on the planet, I don't know there's any other opinion even, that tokenization is the key. Because if you think about it, you mentioned real estate. Think about Burj Khalifa is pretty known, I guess the largest residential building in the world here in Dubai. If you want to buy an apartment, it's the cheapest 1.2 million US dollar. So once again, you're not in Dubai, you don't get a loan, so you have to have the money cash. So the dream of having apartment that doubles in value every 2 or 3 years, which is the case here in Dubai, or where you can make 10, 12, 14% yield from the rent, is remaining a dream, right? But if you tokenize it, you really put it in small pieces, and now you can put $1.2 million into 1.2 million tokens, each token worth $1. So now if you have $100 or 500, whatever the minimum is, you can own a piece of that apartment. And if you have 10% and the value doubles, then your 10% will double. If you have 5% and the yield, the rent doubles, you have that portion of it. And this, once again, is a game changer for any business that can be tokenized. And everything can be tokenized. IP, We have tennis players who want to be tokenized. The investment in them and then the profit you make from them. Intellectual property, real estate, treasury, documents. I mean, there's nothing actually I could think of that you can't tokenize. And Trustyfy, once again, later building an ecosystem will then allow people also to display those assets within your account. So it becomes a one-stop solution, simplified, easy overview about all your assets that you can control.
So the benefits for the individual and humanity seem exponential, really.
Yes. I mean, it's a bit like I'm repeating myself, right? But freedom, if you want to put a price tag on freedom, financial freedom, I don't think there is any, right? And once again, I could tell many crazy stories from around the world. How I one day wake up and my bank calls me and says, we have frozen your account. I'm like, why? Well, you do business with Iran. It's forbidden. So I don't. Well, did you use this shipping company? It's like, yeah, for shipping supplements. Well, they opened an office in Iran. So how is that related to me? Well, you use them. Yeah, to ship supplements from US to Dubai. Yes. So, yeah, they froze my account. Millions of dollars frozen. Then they told me I have 2 weeks time to find a solution. Otherwise, the money is gone. Not only frozen, the money is gone. I mean, you're helpless, right? Yeah. So freedom is the ultimate value where you can put a price tag. And then you have the practical applications. Sending money. I need to send you money now while I'm on the Zoom here on the podcast. You send me your wallet address. I send it 10 seconds, 15 seconds later. You have the money. Now cooling down period, now adding beneficiary, now explaining while I sent you $500. Maybe I want your advice. And you sold me coaching. How to prepare for my next fight, because you know something, right? How to prepare for important games or events. So why can't I pay you $500, which is cheap, from a Hall of Famer? You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is like the applications that you have at hand are crazy, So I think the biggest change of life that it's not a theory, like something from utopia. That now with Trustyfy, you can use it in many, many daily cases that otherwise you depend on one single institution, aka banks, right? So it's a good alternative to set you free.
Well, you've given everyone the reason why Trustyfy is a good thing. You're obviously doing it for good reasons. It's not all about the dollar. And there are free signups, and I'll have that below. But Volker, thank you so much for your time. How long till you think you'll be launching this publicly, internationally?
That's a really good question. In software, I learned one thing. It's always later than you think. We're super fast. All the VCs we're meeting, they want to give us money and we deny. We don't take money from them. Another lesson for another time. But all of them is like, well, crazy, you're so fast. And we want to hit our head every time we talk, right? And so we're too slow. We have to do better, which is part of being entrepreneur, right? So I think, given end of October, we will have good news about the B2B part, the enterprise solution, that by the end of this year and beginning of 2026, we're going to come out swinging heavily and become public. And once again, my partners are very known in the space. I don't know how many invites they get every week for a podcast, but they have been quiet so far, which helps build the story, right? They are what they're doing, what they're building. Perfect. But I think latest beginning of next year, it will be like a big announcement, and then we go crazy.
Well, Volker, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. You seem like you got a wonderful product here, and I can vouch for it. I'm using it at the moment. But yeah, if there's people who are interested, we'll have the link below and we can get it moving. And before 10,000 people using it, will turn into, as you said, you think you could get to 1 billion. So it's a great opportunity for people who want to get involved. And thank you for doing your thing.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for being part of it. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ballsy Show. We appreciate your support. Please like, subscribe and share this episode to keep the vibes going. Before we wrap up, a shout out to Trustyfy, the game-changing Web3 app that lets you seamlessly manage your crypto, send funds and spend on the card, all without banks or middlemen. Sign up for free today using our QR code or the link below to take control of your financial future. Stay tuned, the next Ballsy Show episode is about to drop.